Good morning. Thanks for joining me for another episode of MyattJazz. I'm your host, Renee Myatt, and today I am excited to have the magnificent Wycliffe Gordon. Wycliffe Gordon is a magnificent, fantastic trombonist. I can't use enough adjectives to describe him. But he also has become a friend over the years. So I am thrilled to have him as a guest today. So you're going to really enjoy this episode. So as always, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, always like and subscribe. So now let's turn to Wycliffe Gordon and get on with the conversation. Good morning. Thank you for coming today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm glad we could finally make it work out where we can do this.
Yes. And I feel honored because you had a gig last night and you got to get on a plane this morning. So I'm glad you were able to squeeze me in so we can have this conversation.
Well, that's what we had tried it before, and I don't live in New York anymore, so just scheduling things can be difficult. But I was like, I'm coming up, and I'm taking a later flight today. Normally, I'm on the first thing smoking in the morning, but I'm taking a later flight today so we can do this.
Well, listen, I appreciate it, and you're not going to miss the plane, so you don't have to worry about that. But I wanted to continue the conversation a little bit about what we were talking about off camera, because you're not just a performer. I don't even want to use the word just. You're not a performer. You are also a teacher. And you were talking about the students that you teach. Because I asked you when you leave here, is it relaxed time when you get home? And you said, absolutely not. You got students you have to go back and teach.
Yes. Well, right now we're at the end of the semester. So in the fall, we have one major concert. Spring, we have two. So this is our last concert, which will be in, April. So, and it's coming on spring break down in Augusta, Georgia last week. And matter of fact, this Sunday, is the last day of Masters. So unlike most other towns and cities, they take their spring break a little earlier than we do.
Okay.
When the Masters come to Augusta, it changes everything. So we all take our spring break late.
Okay.
So, and coming on the heels of that, we have a concert coming up. And I try to tell my students, music students, and spring break, you're getting a break from your math class, your history class and all that. It's not really a time to have a break from playing music.
And what school is this?
Augusta University in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so now you actually have more time to practice. I don't really think they look at it that way. So coming back, we have two rehearsals, Monday and Wednesday, then the show on Thursday. And I think that it'll be fine. But, going back after the Masters, Augusta's going to kind of put itself back together and the students get back into the flow of things. And then we have two rehearsals and showtime.
Now, one of the things you did say is that the students sometimes think that if they are, in a performance kind of study, that they are automatically going to get a job. Is that some of the thinking?
Yes. Well, I've been in music education for a while. I first started teaching at Michigan State in 2000, and when the Juilliard started this jazz program, 2001. So the education degrees, there's Bachelor of Arts, and which is more so of a performance degree. So when students go, in an education degree, when you graduate, you get the opportunity to, if you're going to teach in a certain state, you have to take that state certification, and you're certified to be a teacher, which almost guarantees you a job. You can apply for job openings. Performance degrees doesn't guarantee you a job. You're not going to get your performance degree and go work with the New York Philharmonic or the Metropolitan Opera or the, Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra.
Okay.
Now, if you're studying at one of the conservatories in New York, say Juilliard, Manhattan School, or maybe even a new school, by nature of being in the city of New York, you're exposed to the music. And if you happen to be studying in Joe Alessi's studio who's the principal trombonist with the New York Philharmonic, the opportunities that may come up. And I was just saying that, those students are probably going to have, his better students are going to have, dibs on those jobs. Those students studying in the Juilliard Jazz Studies program, closely related to Jazz Lincoln Center, if guys need subs, they're probably going to call them.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
and those two are both performance institutions. And at Augusta University, you have the opportunity to take music performance or music education.
Okay.
Most of our students, I think, choose the education route because they're looking to become gainfully employed when they graduate.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I guess that's like launching a website. You create this beautiful website, and you press, it launches, and you think that, you're going to have millions of people coming. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee.
You got to go through that process.
Right. Right.
Yes.
So now you grew up, as I understand it, in a musical family. Your father was a musician.
Yes. He played piano. He studied classical piano, practical application of his work. There weren't many performance venues because I grew up in Augusta. So Augusta, if folks from New York would consider that to be a small town.
Okay.
There's nothing compared to Waynesboro. Waynesboro really is a small town. Matter of fact, they have a McDonald's and Walmart there now. But
when you were growing up, they didn't have that.
Oh no. It was in the country. But anyway, so my father studied classical piano, but he played piano and organ in church, and that was his job. He didn't come to New York seeking a career to be on stage at Carnegie Hall or at Lincoln Center, but he was well known. In many of the churches in Waynesboro. So I'm growing up. As a little boy, my older brother Lucius, he would take us to church with him, and we just had to sit on the front pew of the choir stand and just be quiet. But so he played piano and he studied. He played gospel. He read music very well, and he studied classical music. And that was our introduction to music. I didn't get into jazz until later.
Right. Okay. Right.
But yeah, he was a great musician. And
so how was the household? I mean, was there like music everywhere?
Well,
playing in the house?
Kind of. My father was in the Air Force, and I think he was a radio man or whatever. He had an upright grand piano, and he had a reel-to-reel recorder, stereo recorder. He put speakers in every room in the house. So what we heard was either gospel, but mostly classical piano music. Could have been Beethoven. He loved, Mozart. He loved Chopin, Schumann, Schubert, and that's kind of what we heard.
Yes.
And it was classical or gospel.
Got it. Okay.
That's what we heard at home.
Now, he passed away at a young age, I understand, right?
Yes. He passed away of cancer. He died when he was, I think it was 63. It was 1997.
Okay.
No, he may have been 65.
Okay.
So he passed away in 1997, December 23rd to be exact. And so he loved to partake in, habits he picked up from the Air Force. He loved to drink and smoke.
Okay.
He did that until even when he had cancer. I loved it about him because he was always. I didn't like the fact that he had cancer, but I love the fact that he was always just comfortable with the decisions he made in his life. And even when he knew that he was near the end, he was just calm. I mean, he came, stayed with me because he lived in Waynesboro, but he had to get his radiation treatments in Augusta. So he'd come stay with me during the week, and then I would take him. So, but and until the end, he was just said, "Dad, I tried to talk to him,
of course, yeah,
not wanting to bust him or anything." I'm talking to the nurse. He goes back for his treatment. I said, "Do you think it would be good?" I said, "He's still drinking and smoking. If the treatment would help."
Yeah.
Nurse said, "Well, we'd like to think so, but realistically, the damage has been done."
Got it.
And so she was saying basically it doesn't matter.
So
the next day I'm going to take him. I said, "Well, I'm just going to say something to him." And I say, "Dad, I would never try to tell you what to do, but you think that if you stop smoking and drinking, that your radiation treatment might help?" He said, "Yeah, probably." And he was sitting in my truck, and he took a cigarette. He did just like this, and I said, "Well, I did my part." and so I mean, the thing that I say, we miss him tremendously, but he was always a calm man, and even in
Always.
later, yeah. So I was just like, okay.
Wow. So how did you cope losing him then?
Well, you never. I don't know how you cope. You can't know what's coming. I was in Israel, and I in Tel Aviv doing a gig with a friend. I had to come back, and he was in the hospital, and he was scheduled. He had throat cancer, and he was scheduled to get a trach, and then something happened, and he wound up in a coma, and had to go. So and then his only living sister, he talked to her, and she called me, and I was the oldest sibling in town, and she said, your dad told me to tell you all that if he's on life support, the breathing machine, he did not want to be kept that way. So my aunt Elsie told me that, and I have one older brother, Lucius. I'm the second child of 6. And but I was the oldest one in town, and then as I'd go to the hospital, and when you're dealing with those kind of things, you just emotions are just running. So then it came time, to sign the DNR papers, and they moved him to a facility. And the most thing that I remember most about it, my sister Karen and I were going to the bank. He had some checks in his wallet from playing the churches. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but said, we're hopeful. Let's go put these checks in the bank. And then my mom had come to see him, and he was in the hospice at the VA uptown. And so we're at the bank about to close, and my mom called and cell phone. She said, Cliff, y'all need to come on back. And I think I kind of knew what happened. I said, sad as it was, poetic, and I didn't think about it until probably a few months later, and then it really hit a few years later that my sister Karen and I left. And when my mom came in, he took his last breath when she was there. They divorced many years ago, but I was like, oh, wow. And so it was hard to see. But when I walked back in the room, and I looked at him, I said, well, he's calm. He's peaceful. He's not struggling to breathe. And as hard as it was, that had a little bit of a calming effect.
I see. Okay. Right. Now you mentioned your siblings. So there are 6 of you?
6.
All musicians of some sort?
Everyone had the opportunity to do it. 2 of us, my sister Karen and I, made a career of it of sorts. She mostly stayed home, but she became my sister Karen. Everybody in town knows my sister Karen.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm known as Karen's
His brother.
Yeah. So I get on stage. I don't even say Wycliffe Gordon.
Right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen's brother. So,
right.
Oh, yeah. And my brother Lucius was the reason I played trombone. He wanted to play trumpet, but band director said we need trombone players. But he had a trombone, and he played. He studied. He still does, but he didn't want to perform. He went to school at Alcorn State University and.
What university? Well,
Alcorn. Some people say Alcorn.
Okay.
And Norman, Mississippi.
Okay,
it's
wow.
HBCU.
Wow.
And got his degree, did his student teaching, decided I don't want to be a music teacher. He had an education degree.
Yes.
So he went into the service and became a physician's assistant. He's retired from the service, but he's still doing that in Utah now. I think he's getting ready to move back to Georgia. But then there's me.
Yes.
I played trombone and piano. My sister Karen. We studied piano together. Our younger brother Eric or Stephen. He played drums, but he really wanted to do ROTC or something like that. So it didn't stick with him. And my 2 younger sisters, I forget. I'm not sure if Audrey really played an instrument. She had the opportunity to, but then the youngest of the 6, my sister Tanya, played clarinet and piano.
Right.
And but they didn't really stick with it. She went to college for communications or something. So my sister Tanya lives here
in
New
York?
York now. Yeah, Long Island City. She works for some big. I think she got a degree being a publicist or something. So,
Okay.
and she works for, I can't think of the name of the company, but she's happy doing that. She came to New York.
All right.
She loves New York City. I'm like, okay, great. And I understand that.
Wow. Now, I read also you play 23 instruments. Did I get that right?
Yes.
23 instruments.
Yeah, not at the same time.
No, I know.
Yes, 23. All the brass instruments, piano, bass, drums, and some specialty instruments like didgeridoo from Australia.
Now, what is that? Explain that instrument.
Didgeridoo is an instrument that was developed by the Aboriginal people, the indigenous people of that land.
Okay.
And it's made from wood, a special tree. And it's not a huge tree, but the insects, I forget what they are.
Okay.
But they would eat the root or the bark from the center of the tree, making the tree
hollow.
hollow. And so then they would cut the tree down, and they wouldn't use a mouthpiece.
Okay.
But, physics.
Yes.
The longer the tube,
yes.
the lower it is in pitch. And they would put some kind of beeswax, and they would play the didgeridoo, and certain it's like buzzing. And I noticed that sometimes they play on the side of their mouth, and then they would incorporate this technique called circular breathing, which means they can keep the sound going like. So when you're circular breathing, what that is while you are blowing out, breathing out.
Okay.
Then you fill your jaws with air, and you can close the back of your throat and use your jaw muscles to push the air out while you breathe in, and then you continue the sound.
Wow.
And so I remember when I learned how to do that in high school. I learned how to do it in high school. I heard somebody say, "Man, I went to a concert and this guy held a note for 100 beats." I said, "You can't hold a note for 100." So just not being exposed to it.
Sure.
And I said, "Oh, circular breathing." So I learned how to do it. And my high school girlfriend at the time had a younger brother that used to love to swim. They could go from one end. I mean, he could hold his breath a long time.
Right.
And I said, "Well, I can hold my breath for more than a minute." He said, "You can't hold your breath for 30 seconds. I said, "I can breathe for 2 minutes. And I said, "I bet you a quarter."
Okay.
Yeah, because you had quarters back then. And I said, "Well, if I do it for 2 minutes, on 2 quarters, 50 cents. And so I learned to circular breathe. And so I was doing this in my trombone. And he couldn't believe me. So but anyway, I'm not sure if that's where it started, but that's what the didgeridoo is.
Got it.
It's a natural instrument. It's made of a tree.
Right.
And then when it's hollow, they cut the tree and maybe put a beeswax on it. Probably something else.
Okay.
Now, but that's what it is. And I went to Australia and heard that the first time, playing with Wynton in January of 1990. And I tried to play it, but the opening is a little bigger than a trombone or tuba mouthpiece. And I was trying to play my embouchure directly on, but everybody I see playing it will kind of be to the side.
Right.
Well, I didn't get it. But the sound was in my head, and then I tried to emulate that on the trombone. But when I went back that second year, we went back the next year, same time of year, January, which is the beginning of the year for us, I think the middle of the year for them, or they start school January. We do May, June to whatever. So anyway, and I heard the sound, and I'd watched them play, and when I went back, I got it. I just,
off to the side now.
Yeah, just kind of off to the side. You can do it this way, but the opening is, to create the pressure and the buzz. I did that, and this guy, I'm not sure if he was Aboriginal, but he was Australian, and he made one out of PVC pipe. And so he put that on my shoulder, and he played, and then he had a didgeridoo that he made, and he put mine on his shoulder, and I played. And I said, okay, I got it now. And then they would make sounds, like animal sounds, or just buzz, and he was like, "Oh wow, you got it." And we were there for a couple of days. I think it may have been Sydney. The first time we went to Australia, we went to Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, and Brisbane. I never just forgot it, but he said, "I'm gonna give you this didgeridoo," and I still have it to this day. I mean, you see some that are very elaborate,
right?
But I kept that one because that guy gave it to me, and I was like, and I still play it every now and then, not often. But,
so, are you self-taught on these 23 instruments?
Well, yeah. See, an instrument is just an instrument. The music comes from what how you want to speak. Once you learn the mechanics of an instrument, a trombone has 7 positions. All valve instruments that are 3-valve have 7 fingering combinations, and it's just like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And tuba was my second band instrument. I took in beginning band, and so everything that's open, first position. Everything second valve is second position. Everything first valve, third position. 4, 1 and 2, 5, 1. 2 and 3, 6, 1 and 3, and then all 3 is 7. I said, okay. And when we were in high school, I learned that. Well, in high school, we used to, or even junior high school, we would live in a neighborhood, and the kids would carpool to band practice.
Okay.
Like my brother Lucius and I, and then we had friends Rod and Warren. So one parent would take us to band practice, another one pick us up, one take to the parade, and and there were quite a few kids in our neighborhood that were that were in the band. So, and then sometimes if we get together after chores and all of that, we go bike riding or play football.
Okay.
Jonathan Circle against Winesap Way or whatever. And then sometimes the friends, they would come over, they'll leave their instruments at the house. And if you left your instrument in our house, it got played by me.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, okay, I got it. So learning an instrument or the mechanics of an instrument and what makes it work is the, once you learn that, it's okay, now, how do I make music? How do I make this sing?
Right,
So,
right. Now you mentioned was it high school or junior high school? There was a point where was it McDonald's?
that was high school, McDonald's All-American High School Band.
Yeah. And so, but there was somewhere you were on the field or something, and they flew in.
Oh, what to make the announcement? It was really big.
Yeah. Now that was the McDonald's. What was that?
A McDonald's All-American High School Band. Right. They had a McDonald's basketball team, the sports that kept going.
Okay.
And I forget which year they started the McDonald's All-American High School marching band. And then there was the jazz band. So by the time I got there, but they only take 2 students from each state, 12 trombonists from around the world, 24 trumpets, 12 tubas. They had a formula.
Okay.
But they would only select 2 students from each state. And I was one of the 2 trombonists from Georgia.
Okay.
The other guy, Stan Wilkerson. I went to Florida A&M. He went to Florida State.
Okay.
I played ahead of him in the jazz band. He played ahead of me in the concert band. He studied classical music. And so that was really big because there was a lot of firsts for us.
What do you mean?
First time coming to New York.
Okay.
The first time I came to New York, we played in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Now, but before you get there, though, they make the announcement where?
At our high school.
So you're at your high school.
Yeah, I just looked at it the other day. There was a clip. My mom passed away recently, and so
I'm sorry.
and her things was a newspaper clipping of me on the phone with my band director, high school band director, rest his soul, standing behind me, and I'm getting a call from the McDonald's Corporation that I've been selected to be in the McDonald's All-American High School Band. And it was I didn't realize, how big it was. I was like, oh, that's an honor. Because I did the all-county band, the 10th District Band, all-state with all the kids in the state.
Okay.
And, solo and ensemble festivals. But this was, really big. Like,
Right.
television big.
Yes.
The kind of, for us in high school that.
Right. But then
Born
they
in
land
New
on,
York.
didn't they land on the field? Didn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, when they made the announcement.
That's what I'm saying. That's huge.
At a football game, they sent Ronald McDonald in at halftime and landed a helicopter on the football field to make the announcement saying, we want to recognize one of your students for being selected to make. Ronald McDonald comes out to McDonald's on American High School, marching band, Wycliffe Gordon, and I was like, wow, that's
you had to feel like a celebrity.
I didn't. I was just Wycliffe. So I'm like, oh man, this, it was really cool. After that, that's when what I imagine celebrities feel, because young ladies did never want to say anything to me. And I'm just like, he's sitting with me for lunch. I'm like, yesterday you didn't want to talk to me. What are you talking about? I'm sitting with my friends.
Right.
All the guys in the band, he's like, they're pulling. I was like, oh, is this you? Is this what it's about? My name was on the marquee in front of the school. So it was big, but I never really got into that kind of thing. Like, oh man, I made it. I did it. So I'm in the McDonald's marching band, and they had the jazz band, and we got to try for that too. Now that was even more
prestigious, I guess.
Yes. Okay. Because now it's only they're going to take 18 people from the marching band to be in the jazz band. And it was the first year we did a tour. We played the Jerry Lewis Telethon. We went to Vegas. So it was a lot of firsts. I'm in high school. My first time coming to New York. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was. So when that happened, for the past 10, 12 years, not the past few years, but for 10, 12 years in a row, I would play Dizzy's during Thanksgiving. Wow. And on the way down for the sound check, I do Wednesday through Sunday. So after, coming out for the sound check, they're getting the streets ready for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I'm like, I did this in high school. And so, it would bring back, many great memories.
Yes.
But we did Macy's, and then we did the Fiesta Bowl, which was an extra thing. And then we always did the Rose Bowl. Got to meet the Rose Bowl queen, take pictures. And I was like, he's just smiling. Like, I mean, I didn't really know. I think she was a college student or whatever.
Right.
It was just a lot of firsts.
Right. And at that point, you're 15, 16?
No, 17.
17.
18.
Okay.
Yes. I say you can only audition. It has to be going into your senior year.
Oh, I see.
So you audition your junior year.
Okay.
First time on a plane, first time in New York City, all of us, except for the kids that live here in New York.
Oh, naturally.
New York, yeah, we live here. Todd Lowry and Bob Leon, the two trombone players. And Bob, we stayed in touch over the years. Todd lives in Japan with his wife. Now he's still doing music. Bob, and he said this when we were in high school. He said, my parents want me to be a doctor. I was like, what?
His parents wanted him to be a doctor.
Yeah, and he is. He's an oncologist.
Oh, okay.
One of the top cancer research. I forget. But and so I said, I got to reach out to Bob.
Yes.
And so it was, but they were great trombone players. All that. Be a doctor, man. You play as well as you play trombone. Why would you want to do that? So anyway, but it was just great times in high school and going into college. But that band I was in the band. They had 12 trombones. Okay. 9 tenors and 3 bass trombones. I was number 9. I was at the bottom. Like everybody's audition was better than mine.
Yes.
And to be in a band where everybody's good, I'm like,
wow.
What?
And that's a first.
What? Yeah. No, it's just, and I mean, just really great players, and they showed up, and they could play. It's like the best of the best. I'm like, man, and so then that just kicked me into another gear. I'm like,
you don't want to be number 9.
Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to be better. I wasn't really worried about numbers, but I thought about it in hindsight.
Okay.
So I was the 9th trombone, maybe even 7, but every you audition and whoever was had the best audition. They
Right.
would put on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whether you want first, second, or third part.
Right.
But I said, I was number 9. I said,
Right.
and I tell my students, that's how you grow. Get around people that are better than you.
Mm.
Get around those that are great.
Yes.
Check out what they're doing, and now you go do that. You can find your own way.
Mm-hmm.
But I said the process of doing that is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're looking for applause on the gig. That's cool.
Right.
The process is what makes the journey to getting there. That's the thing. That's the most important thing. So in seeing those kids, I was like, man. They would practice, they warm up. I'm like, and then we would show things to each other. It's like cool. You have cassette recorders. Mm-hmm. For those of y'all that know what those are, and some folks listening to this podcast,
right, may not know what a cassette recorder is.
So you go to some schools now, even college. What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh, okay. Some people don't even know what a CD player is.
Yes.
So having gone from the 8-track tape to the cassette,
yes,
I feel very privileged.
Yes, absolutely.
So anyway, but that was fun.
Yeah.
It was a great experience, and what I think that propelled me into understanding that in order to do something, you have to practice, and then practice just becomes a part of your,
Yes. Now, so in terms of practicing, obviously makes you better, and you've been a performer now. I said you've probably been performing how many years now? You figure.
Well, I started with went professionally at that level. I started playing when I was 12, but back in 1989, I joined Wynton Marsalis group, and it was the group that later became the Septet. I was the 7th member to join. I was attending Florida A&M University, and I got the call. I met him a couple of times and had gone out to play completely unprepared because I was in college. Florida A&M University. I mean, I played in the jazz band, but I was also in my frat band, the band fraternity. And
so what? Wynton came to
he came to the college my sophomore year, and I got a chance to meet him. Nothing much came from it except we played.
Right. I mean, was he impressed with your playing?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, not even so much the playing. He gave us a test. He said, like the Count Basie band.
Okay.
They were playing a lot of the songs are riff based. So a lot of songs they play a lot of dances, and songs would be born out of what's happening then. Like 1 o'clock jump. Sax is playing that. Repeat it one more time. So it's a riff that repeats. Then the next riff comes in. And so somebody in the section would come up with that, and it's like, you have a song.
I gotcha.
1 o'clock jump, 2 bass hit.
Yes.
So he was telling us about that. He said, so let's play a B-flat blues. And somebody come up with a riff. The section. So for me, having grown up in church, hearing the choir sing, the lead vocalist and the choir responding, that was just a part of my...
Right, the call and response.
Yeah. And so we started playing. They started playing the blues, and I came up with a riff, showed the section. We played the first time, second time I gave them notes.
Yeah.
And so we had a harmonized riff. Trumpet, Scotty Barnhart, who's in the section, and who's now the music director for Count Basie Orchestra. While we're talking about it.
Yes.
They were kind of struggling to get theirs together, and there was another. We had jazz players, but there were 3 of us. Were kind of serious, and Herb Harris, and so it was like 3 or 4 choruses went by and went and cut the band off. Anyway, I don't know if a pencil or something fell on the floor, and I bent over to pick it up. When I sat back up, everybody in the section was pointing at me, and I think Wynton asked, "Who came up with that riff?" And they said, "Yeah." So he just looked at me like this, and I didn't think anything of it. But he knew Scotty, being a trumpet player. So after he left town, he said, "Scotty, who's that trombone player?" And he said, you talking about Wycliffe? And Wynton said, "What kind of damn name is Wycliffe?" I said, he said that? I said, well, what kind of damn name is Wynton? I never heard that before. But anyway, so and then long story short, he called, and Marcus Roberts lived in Tallahassee,
Okay.
still does,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, and he had Marcus to call me to go out to Caravan of Dreams and
Mm-hmm.
like 1980s, 1987, my sophomore year, 1987,
Okay.
or 88.
Okay.
I wasn't ready because I was in the frat band playing bass. We were like doing the butt.
Yeah, now doing the butts at a college game of some sort.
Yeah. No, I mean that's when I was in college. That's when it was popular,
I
and
see.
Freddie Jackson, all the pop acts.
I
We went to
see.
HBCU. We love jazz, but
Uh-huh.
most of the people, they want to hear the pop music of that time. We had Freddie Jackson for Homecoming. Our frat band opened up for him. But we're doing like Cameo and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
So I loved all of that music too.
Yes.
So when Marcus Roberts called me and said, Wynton wanted me to come to Caravan of Dreams, I hadn't really been playing jazz. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I went out there and, they started playing that night. I was like, I said, oh, man.
You weren't ready?
No. I mean, playing on B-flat blues. I'm like, 3 or 4. They were doing stuff. I was like, wait a minute. I knew what it was. I'm like, these young guys. I was like, man, I got my butt kicked that week. And he would call me up to play whatever I was comfortable playing. But I went back to Tallahassee with a whole new attitude. I said, you'll learn music, check out these Charlie Parker solos. I was already listening to J.J. Johnson, like Louis Armstrong. So that was in February, or whatever it was. And then later on that year, he called me to play Blues Alley. And he was working on music for the holiday Christmas CD, Crescent City Christmas card. I didn't sound great, but I was practicing with a new attitude. And he said, I'm going to make a record. So yeah, that was in '87 because we that was 88 at Blues Alley, December and February, March of '89. He said, I want to do this recording. You want to play on this recording? I was like, yeah. And I think his initial thing he's probably going to call J.J. Johnson. So I'm glad that I was like, yeah. So we did the recording. He said, what are you doing during the summer? I said, well, I'm on full scholarship, but it doesn't cover summer school. So I go home, do construction work, make money, pay for books in college and that kind of thing.
Because you're not making a lot of money playing as a musician.
I was in college. I wasn't making any money. I played church. I made $50 a Sunday. And I worked at Pizza Hut. Now, that was good. Because I said, this is how you not starve in college.
Got
you
it.
Work at a place that serves food.
Yes.
And clothes. I'm like, my frat brothers called me, hey, man, you got a pizza? I'm like, man, stop calling me. I had pizzas and ramen noodles.
Right, that's it.
Anyway. And then, so we did the recording, and then I got out of school. I called him on my birthday in 1989, May 29th. I said, hey, Wynton, it's Wycliffe. I'm out of school. I'm ready to go home. He said, call my manager. And I met them June 6th in Charleston, South Carolina for the Spoleto Festival. And that was the first gig, and 3 or 4 days later, we're down in Aruba. So you have a passport? No, we didn't really need them back then. I was like, no, so you got to get a passport. But they let me use my driver's license. So we down there. Eric Reed was playing piano in the band because Marcus Roberts had started developing his solo career. And we were out and talking with Eric, and Eric was in school. He was at Cal State Northridge, and he said, well, I'm not really happy with what's happening at school. What school can I go to to study jazz? I went and said, I went to Juilliard 1 year. Don't talk to me, talk to Wycliffe. I said, well, I don't know what school you should go to. But I said, I know one you shouldn't go to, because I was thinking about leaving. His father, Wynton Marsalis, was at Virginia Commonwealth University and then moved to New Orleans to teach at UNO. I said, I want to go and study. I mean, I had a great time at FAMU, 4 years in the marching band. We do rock stars. But I wanted to get around jazz a little more. And I said, I'm thinking about going to UNO.
UNO meaning University
of New Orleans.
Okay.
And Wynton said, "Yeah, why are you doing that? I thought things were going good for your family." I said, "Well, He said, "We want to stay out here and play for a while." And I thought about it for all of 10 seconds. I said, yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, as my band director and all the people that would say, even my college professors, get your degree, get your degree.
I see.
That degree is college on a solid foundation. I was just asked if I wanted to do something, even temporarily, that I know I want to do for the rest of my life. I was like, yeah. And before I knew it, we were out there. And then he said, after 3 or 4 months in, he said, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I gotta pay you more money." I was
Who
like,
says
"What?"
Wynton says that?
Yeah. He said, "Look, no, because I just stayed. I didn't go back to school.
Uh-huh.
So I have to pay you more money." I was like, "You do?" So okay. But that was where the true schooling can come in. You know, performing. I would go with him.
Yes.
To master classes, and some of the most difficult ones were the ones here in New York. We go to school trying to teach these kids about jazz, completely uninterested. It was like rap, hip hop. It was like Duke Ellington. It's like, where's that? So, well, it's named after the street on 160th in Manhattan, but he's a jazz musician.
Yeah.
Louis Armstrong. It's just like, I mean, just completely uninterested. And that was like my first couple of years in the band. I was like, wow.
They had no idea who these folks were?
No, they didn't, and weren't interested.
And weren't
We're
interested.
just going into, public school here in New York. And then, and this was before like Jazz at Lincoln Center now has the whole education
Right.
component that became probably the largest part of. I mean, everyone recognizes the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra as the face of Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Right.
And that's what it was.
Okay.
But, get an education department, publicity, marketing, and all of that. And so it got better over the years. We began to go to public schools, and they did the essentially Ellington competition.
Okay.
And lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things. But those first few years, kids didn't want to hear about jazz. Matter of fact, I was like, man, people all over the world love jazz except Americans. No, not all Americans.
I got
just Americans at large.
Yes.
And then African Americans, like unless you go to Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, or places where there's a huge number of cultured.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Okay, sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Cool in the Gang. I grew up dancing to that. That's part of my teenage existence.
Yes.
But I'd always been in the garage listening to, Louis Armstrong, my friends that were in the band. It's like, yeah, we all love jazz. But Cliff loved that deep jazz. What's that deep jazz?
What is that?
What's this? Early jazz and without words. I listen to the Gap Band. I still listen to that.
Yes.
I listen to the Manhattan. I'm like, is music. But
so when you're talking about these other cities like Detroit and that sort of thing, in terms of
it could be New York.
Okay.
They're cultured folks everywhere.
I see.
Everywhere we went,
right,
we would not see the ratio of African Americans to Caucasian Americans or any other type of American at our concert.
Got it.
It'd be like when you went to a Tupac concert or
I see.
NWA.
Sure.
Like, man, where
are we? Yes.
And so you go to these other countries, whether you're European countries, Spain, Italy, France, anywhere, even Russia.
Okay.
That they come and they appreciate the music, and especially Japan. It didn't matter what country we went to. Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic. I'm like, and I come back to the States. I was like, man, where are we?
Yes.
And it was, and I think that things have changed because then there's the jazz cruise.
Right. Because I was going to ask you, is that disappointing though? I mean, you go into these other
back
countries.
Then, I'm talking about the early '90s.
Okay.
When I started, I'm like, where are we?
Got it.
I love doing the jazz cruise.
Yes.
You have the crew of people, like I've been seeing y'all on the cruise.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure close to 20 years. Just,
easily. I think it's 25 years now.
Yeah. You all started when they first started doing it. Ken Poplowski.
Yes.
Great friend that we just lost.
Just lost him.
They're going to have a memorial for him on May 19th. He was the one that called me. He said, Wycliffe, you ever do a cruise? I said, no. Well, they got this jazz cruise, and they want to ask you to do it. I'm like, well, no, I've never been on a ship before, but I liked it. And that was during the time, I think Houston Person was there, and they had the Count Basie Orchestra. When they used to ask the passengers, and we were on the Holland America line ships. I know you remember all that.
Yeah. The story's worth telling. Yes.
Which artist you like? No, I'm just cruising. And then that first or second year, I think, Basie Orchestra was on there, and they had the gospel show. And I said, I don't want to play on the gospel show. Y'all don't have to pay me anything. Because I grew up in church.
Yes.
So I'm just like, I'd like to do that. And they asked me, would you mind hosting? I was like, no, I don't.
Right.
But they were just hiring, jazz musicians that would do gospel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, some of us, did grow up in church, even though we made a career in jazz.
Right.
Gospel is at the center of who I am. So, and I told people that without hesitation, because even all those years I was on the road with Wynton, we'd be on the bus. We get on the bus in the morning to leave. Wes Anderson, great friend, had his coffee and cigarette in the front of the bus, listening to Blue Note bebop. Just like,
wow. In the morning.
I go to the back of the bus. I put on the Florida Mass Choir, the Georgia Mass Choir.
Wow.
The Hawkins.
Yes.
And James Cleveland, Aretha Franklin.
Of course.
And the back of the bus is just church.
Yes.
So he had two lounges, and and I was like, man, that's kind of what kept me centered. And jazz has always been my career, and I love it when people. Even ask me things about my sound. My sound palette comes from what I grew up with. The classical music, and then outside of the house, gospel. When people sing, the preachers preach, or the deacons pray.
Yes.
It's like, man, it was and still is powerful.
So what is it about? Because I've seen you obviously on the Jazz Cruise. That's how we met. But when you do the gospel hour on the cruise, on the Jazz Cruise, it is the most powerful hour on the ship, because there's something in your, I don't know, your aura, your presentation, just like you said, who you are, that makes that hour. I mean, it's overwhelming.
Well, thank you. I like to think that I'm just participating in it. But so what I was going to say earlier, they used to call it Sunday morning prayer. Now I forget what they called it before.
Okay.
Then before they started calling it the gospel hour. And see, that term gospel throws some people off, because I had conversations with him. Like, I don't know if I want to go to that. Like at my cigar event.
I see.
And it's everything but that. But when they first had it, I hosted, and they had a young lady to sing. She was a pretty good jazz singer.
Okay.
And this is when my old friend Nicky Harris, we were trying to work together. We wound up being together for a few years.
Yes.
And she came on a cruise with me, not working.
Okay.
She come on a cruise and hang.
Right.
It's a jazz cruise.
Right.
And this young lady was singing, and all that California contingency, LA people that were there, they were like, have Nicky come up and sing? I was like, you know what, I could do that. And that was before all the rules about not having.
Yes.
But I said, you know what, thank you. And she was a young lady. I said, I'd like to bring a friend up to sing something. And she came.
Okay.
And every time I seen her perform.
Okay.
From the first time. And it would be like a lot of great singers. Nicky would just, whoa.
Nicky's a force.
The house.
Yes.
And I remember the first time I met her, and I wanted to work with her.
Okay.
But it was on like pop music, because I wanted. I do that too. People don't know me as a jazz musician, but and I wanted to have a funk band, and we get together when I get home, because a lot of the guys that play with some of the guys that play with James Brown, they still live in Augusta, so we'll get together and just have a good time. But and Nicky got on stage and slayed it. It was just like, I said, well, maybe I'll mention. I don't know if you want to work the cruise, but anyway,
yes,
they heard about it now. I think Lazarus' mother's name, I can't think of it.
Anita Berry.
Anita Berry was still alive, and Sherry Sheets, and they were.
Yes.
And we were still doing that, and I said, well, she was available. And then, so they started hiring her to do the cruises, and it's something about it, because I did smooth jazz once.
Oh, you did?
And they had someone, Jonathan Butler, normally does the cruise, but I did this cruise, and he wasn't on that one for some reason. They asked me to host a gospel show. I said, yeah, sure. And I was in the gym one day, and there was a guy that was going to do, I was going to host a renewing of the vows.
Okay.
And I was going to play, and they had this guy that was going to officiate,
okay.
I guess. He started talking about, we're going to put stained glass windows. And he said something, we're not going to be in the champagne. And he had this... He had this old book.
Okay.
I was like, we're on a cruise. We're not at your church.
Right.
The people from here, there's a lot of different people.
Right.
They probably not.
That's right.
See, clearly,
yeah.
There ain't going to be no drinking.
On the cruise?
I don't think you... I thought you did this before.
Right.
But I don't know if he was trying to tell me. I said, ain't nobody going to tell me.
Right.
You're not to drink. I mean, if you don't want to drink, that's good for you.
Yes.
So, but anyway, it was it's just kind of eye-opening, because, when Nikki gets on.
Yes.
Sometimes she says some things that are like close on the front, like, kick the Catholic. I don't like. I start looking around, and she never means harm to anyone, but she has a way of just kind of bringing everybody together.
Yes.
So what I said earlier about someone saying that term gospel,
yes,
can be a little off-putting, because they think they're going to go into what they think gospel is.
Right.
It's just like the times that we live in, whatever people report.
Yes.
If you don't have the ability or the desire to develop your ability to critically think, look at people for who they are, then you just take whatever people say.
Absolutely.
So, and I went to my cigar event, and said, I thought the gospel hours was going to be, and it wasn't what I thought it was at all. It was so much better than what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And and Nikki, she's great for that.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, when you come on, I said, I'm just going to give the stage to you.
Right.
And you just do whatever it is. Just just do your thing.
Right.
She always make everyone in the room feel welcome. But that's how I feel.
Okay.
I grew up in the Southern Black Baptist Church.
Okay.
And there was a lot of things that I learned, but then I started traveling. I'd go around the world. Went to Japan, and just like they have the some version, the standard version, King James version of the Bible in most hotels.
Yes.
In the United States, at least they used to. They had the book called The Teachings of the Buddha in Japan.
In the hotels?
Yeah. So, and it was a complimentary copy. Long flight, taking and reading.
Right.
Travel through the airport. I see Hare Krishnas. My brother, he become Muslim, and so and I just started reading, and I said, we're not really that different. It's like, I remember clearly in high school being taught that Buddhism and Hinduism was wrong because people are worshiping idol gods. I'm like, that's not it at all. That's not what they're doing. But I remember being taught that.
I see.
And once I started reading the teachings of the Buddha, I'm like, man, this is so closely related to the Bible. And then I remember having a conversation with my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend from college. I was like, I just came from Japan, and I was reading this book, The Teachings of the Buddha. He said, it ain't right. There's only one way, and they all going to hell. I was like, all of them? Wait a minute. The children?
Yes, all of them.
They go to God. I said, I don't know if it's not the God that we serve. So that gospel hour, one thing I wish they would do.
Yes.
It says so powerful. We do it at the beginning of the week, and I don't know if they want to get their deck and do it at the end of the week. I'm like, what? I don't know if they think it's a bad thing, but if it's so good, if we, because normally at one point in time, they would do it like the next day we're on the ship. I'm like, and if I'm not traveling with my band,
Yes.
it's hard to put the group together. And then,
That's right.
it'd be good if we could have a choir, but, trying to talk with so I mean,
Right.
kind of working on it now. We talked to
Right.
some people, but you have to get music
Right.
to them and have one day to rehearse.
Well, what I found for just speaking for myself is that the first day, it does bring people together. It really unifies. It almost makes people kind of be on their best behavior for the week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I think, and I thought that was the purpose behind it. But because the object is that at that point, folks are kind of locking arms and, people in a real good, even high spirit, so that it kind of sets the tone for the whole
I
week.
agree totally.
Yeah.
I don't want you to misunderstand what I was saying. I'm going to do it at the beginning.
And the end. I think that makes sense.
I'm like,
that makes sense.
Let's
end
everybody off.
That's right.
If you feel
I
that
agree.
good at the beginning,
right.
That's but the end we mentioned it.
Okay.
And they tried a couple things.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes like one time they had the gospel show at the pool. And we were still on the Holland American show.
Oh, okay.
And it was raining, and so we're gonna have it at the pool. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they had people, people that were there in bathing suits.
Yeah.
I'm a little open-minded, but I'm like, and so it was raining. They had to close the top shutter.
Yes.
And then it stopped raining. And the sun started shining.
I see.
And beaming through that glass. I was like, oh,
boy.
No, I feel like we're in hell right now.
Yes.
I mean, it was just uncomfortable. And we said, I don't think this is a good idea. Let the people get their church, and then I'm sorry, I'm old school. Then they can go and get in their bikinis.
Right.
People were swimming, and
Yeah.
something about it just felt a little. I mean, still that show they wanted to swim.
Right.
They should swim. I said I don't really want to do the gospel show at the swimming pool.
Got it. Yeah.
So, not then you take the gospel everywhere, but let's be everybody's welcome.
Right.
But I don't want to look at people in bikinis while we're talking about precious memories. Something about that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, no, that's fine. And that's actually a perfect way for us to take a little break.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the audience just to sit tight. We're going to be back in like 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll wrap up with Wycliffe. I've got a bunch of questions to ask him before we get him onto a plane. So thanks for sticking around, and just remember to like and subscribe. Welcome back to another episode of MyattJazz. My guest today is the magnificent Wycliffe Gordon. We're going to continue the conversation. I hope during the break you were able to like and subscribe to our channel. It is an excellent way to support this channel. So we're going to get right back into our conversation. So my question is that I understand, because I obviously did some research, that I think you said this. One of your wives said once that people applaud you, but no one applauds her when she goes to work. And I thought that was such a striking comment. Mm-hmm. How did it hit you when she said it to you?
Well, immediately I felt like I don't play for the applause. The applause is just, that's it's kind of a side thing. I do what I do because I enjoy it.
Okay.
I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And I figured that you went into the profession you went into because you loved it. Mm-hmm. Now, what did you love about it? I don't know. Maybe you're not getting something you thought you were going to get from it. But what I get from music comes from the interaction with people, that's good. But the success of what I do is that I'm doing what I love to do. I look forward to going to work. Mm-hmm. And, like some people, they'll say, and this one said, they look forward to going on vacation.
Yes.
I'm like, my life is a vacation. So vacation to me is almost like work. Mm-hmm. And nothing against, vacations.
Sure.
But I said, I look forward to going to work every day. Mm-hmm. Only thing I don't like about my job is getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to get to, go on the airplane and
yes.
Travel.
Right.
And travel is nothing nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, the fact that, we're kind of immune to it now and used to it. Mm-hmm. have to go to the airport. So I'm TSA pre-check. I'm clear. I get everything so I don't have to take off my shoes. But you still have to go through that. And
Yes.
sometimes it's better to just drive depending on the distance. But I just never forgot that, and I said, yeah, people applaud for you at work. I'm like, that's not why I do it. I said that's just maybe they're applauding because I stopped playing.
That's just a byproduct of what you do. It's not.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
That phrase. It's a byproduct.
Yeah.
And if I were something else, it's like even when I did construction work, I didn't really want to be a construction worker, but for me, it was to build something.
Okay.
So from working with brick masons and showing me how to mix the cement, coming in as an apprentice,
right?
You do all the grunt work. And I brought some of my friends in, and then they started showing me how to lay brick and cinder block. And so when you see how to use a plumb line and those kinds of things. So when you see a structure goes up, you have to say, I had something to do with that. Right. For me, I felt like if I played sports, I was going to try to be, I want to play football or box after watching Muhammad Ali. I'm like, man, I wanted to be a boxer.
Okay.
And, I did some of that when I was little, younger.
Yes.
And I was strong, but then I had a friend of mine. Parents bought us some boxing gloves, but he took taekwondo, so his hands were much faster than mine.
Wow.
I'm like, man, he hit me 3 or 4 times during one. I said, just take the glove, let's wrestle. Anyway, so, but no, that was just, I didn't think about it because I remember in one of my marriages, I'm like, man, this is hard. I'm on the road, just kind of starting, and this is, we having challenges in the marriage, and I'm like, should I leave the road and tend to what I thought I was supposed to do? Like I said, growing up in church, we have a template.
Okay.
God, family, work, and 2 other things that came after that.
Okay.
So God, family, and it was a struggle for me because I loved doing what I was doing.
Sure.
And then I realized within those 2 years I was fighting with that. I said, if I would have left home, not only would I have been miserable that I wasn't doing what I love to do, I said I was going to be at home with a miserable in a miserable situation.
Yes.
Now it's miserable squared or cubed. And I said, and I mean, so, but I'm like, I look forward to making music.
Okay.
Whether that's composing, arranging, even teaching, things that involve other people. Because, when you start to teach, you find out how much you don't know.
That's right.
Everything you learn in school. Now,
that's right.
Now you really have to learn. How can I apply that? Because every person's different.
Yes.
Every situation is different. And I said, hey, you're going to develop your teaching chop. That degree means nothing.
That's right. That's right.
So, I mean, I imagine to some degree it's like that in law, too.
Oh, absolutely. Because here's the interesting thing about it is, as most cases, I'm a trial lawyer, so most cases take place in a courtroom, a jury, a judge, and the parties involved. Normally there isn't an audience. So there's nobody there to applaud. But maybe, because I was thinking about this, maybe the applause comes in other forms. So, for example, depending on where you work, Walmart, Employee of the Month, that may be a form of an applause. Somebody, like you say in construction, you build something, it's a building. The applause may be seeing it built. So, obviously being, a celebrity, a musician, sports, that sort of thing, you're going to get the applause immediately because, you're in the moment. But you're right. The focus is not on the applause, the result. The focus is on the work. Is on the work.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I immediately felt. I'm like, are you not happy with your choice? I mean, I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what you thought that.
But I'm like, you chose that, right? I chose this.
Right. Yes.
And I'm so happy that I did. Has it been always easy? Oh, of course not.
Right.
They're dealing with the road, the gigs, and
yes,
contractors, club owners. You learn.
That's right. Right.
But I said, but what I get joy out of is making music, and I know what music does for people, especially in the climate we live in now or any time.
Okay.
And I just remember being on the road with Wynton Marsalis when I first joined the band, 1989. We're in Germany, and we're in Berlin, and we had 3 or 4 days in the city, and that's when the wall still stood between East and West Berlin. So we had a day off. So I took a tour, went to Checkpoint Charlie,
Look at
one of the
that.
checkpoints, just to look at the history. I'm like, man, this is kind of crazy.
Yes.
There's
a wall.
People on the other side of the wall.
Yes.
It's the same people on this side of the wall.
Yes.
But the people on this side of the wall, they can come to the concert. They can, but the people right over, however thick
Yes.
the wall was, I said, wow. And looking at the history and reading it on the wall was something. But before I left the hotel, people in the lobby of the hotel, people that work in the hotel, the way they look at me, I said, man, what's wrong with these people? It's like they wish I didn't exist. So if looks could kill, I wouldn't be here to talk to you now.
See.
I said, why? Coming from America,
right?
I'm thinking because of my skin brown.
Yes.
And so we were in Germany. Of course, we went to Italy, Spain, France, and other places, and it was kind of the same thing. Only come find out in hindsight.
Yes.
They just had bad relations with America at the time. So Americans are like, you were Americans. I remember sometimes we go to Australia. You Americans think y'all think, who you put me in the okay, because I'm from America.
Yes, right.
But I go back to that because 3 or 4 days, the night of the concert, we were playing in the square. Even the people around the hotel, they had businesses. So they look at you like, man, what's wrong? I didn't do anything to you.
Wow.
So, but then we played a concert.
Okay.
I take pride in learning my music from memory, so I'm not always playing like this.
Okay.
So I can look up from the music and look around the crowd.
Yes.
And I would see some of the same people that work in the hotel or that worked in the businesses close to the hotel. Now they were smiling, they were dancing, and they were singing, and even waving. I was like,
waving.
Yeah, it's like
wow.
I said that person looked like they wanted to kill me the other day.
Yes.
Now, I didn't think anything about it then.
Right.
But I'm teaching a master class about 13, 14 years later in Texas. Then talking about Louis Armstrong when he plays Black and Blue in Ghana.
Yes.
In 56 or 57, and you can still see it online. He's doing that. They do a full concert. But how Black and Blue, he changed some of the lyrics to the song, and it became a protest song. His protest song against racism, and these are great United States. And I was sitting there talking with the kids about that, the students at the university. And then it hit me. I said, I got a chance to see that happen in real time.
Yes.
And I said, because we were in... So, I mean, what it was, there's 2 African nations that were at war, and they called a truce to attend this concert. 50,000 on each side. Now, you can see it. It's still on YouTube.
Wow.
Put in Black and Blue, Louis Armstrong, 1956.
Okay.
And I said, man, it says something about the power of this music, for one, and particularly that of Louis Armstrong during that time.
Yes.
And then I saw it when I was playing with Wynton, and it hit me when I was talking to that class. I said, I got a chance to see that. People's frowns turned to smiles.
Yes.
And they became something that they were completely different to me. And the music did that. And I was like, okay. So it changed my teaching.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
but how so? How would the
when I tell students our purpose.
Okay.
And playing the music, we're going to play a good solo. You want to execute this, and if you're getting adjudicated, and that's all. Well, that's our job. It goes far beyond this bandstand.
Okay.
People feel good when they come to our concerts. They should feel great when they leave. If they feel great when they get here, they should feel greater when they leave. I said, because I got a chance to witness that. I'm like, so, and particularly in the gospel show.
Yes.
Because, you deal with people that have different ways of believing and that kind of thing. I said the music can knock all of that stuff out the way. When I look at you, I see a black woman, I see, whatever. And I've done formulated in my mind what you are, who you are, what you could possibly be.
Yes.
Without even, people do that. I'm not saying
they sure do.
That's what I'm doing. I do know who you are.
Right.
But it's just like, sometimes to see you have to close your eyes. sometimes to really see you if you can't if you go I mean we all do it.
Okay, yes.
You formulate opinions
Opinion.
about where you are and based on what it is you see. So
Right, right,
close your eyes,
right.
see another way. And anyway, having witnessed that,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of changed the way that I teach because I can sit here and talk about chord changes and
Yes.
transcription and this all day long. It's
Right.
like, but our purpose is so much deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
You learn all that. You learn all that when you
Right.
get on stage. You get on stage to perform.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to transform people, but what's the message behind your music and on
Right.
why you're doing it? Are
Right,
you
right.
doing it for applause?
Okay.
And maybe your applause is your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if maybe
Yes.
she was speaking that she's not getting she's not getting the applause from her employees.
Okay,
She's
right,
not
right.
getting the applause from the money's not coming in. I'm not
Right.
sure what it is. I'm
Okay.
like, but I like to make money like anybody else.
Sure.
But I'm going to do this whether I'm making money or not.
Right, right, right.
And so anyway,
but the music, basically, what you're saying, the music by itself is, and we talk about this, is powerful, and it almost melds people together. So, like you said, their frowns are turned into smiles.
Yeah,
because the music is like it goes through them almost.
Yeah, I think it puts you in touch with the soul of who you are or who the soul of man is, and like even in today's time, we're so
divided.
divided and consumed with other people's things.
Mm-hmm.
Give me this, so I'm gonna blow you up.
I see. Right, right.
Like, wait a minute. I think our greatest asset is not money's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You got Bitcoin. I hear people talking about this and that, and cryptocurrency, and it's just like the greatest currency we have are human beings.
Yes.
Each other.
Right, right.
Like what? I mean, and I mean, it's been around since the beginning of time. And I think that's one thing that music kind of does. It puts us back in touch with the humanity that I think innately exists in all of us, no matter how far we've gotten away from it.
Okay.
Because I think that's what happened with those people. When you're smiling,
the whole world,
smiling,
yes,
the whole world smiles. I'm like, that dude wanted to kill me the other day. That lady looked at me. I'm like, and it was amazing because and they say you can't see the forest for the trees. It was like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Hindsight.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Wow.
All right. This is why we do music.
Right.
When that can happen,
yes,
that's all I got to say.
You gotta feel that.
Yeah,
you gotta feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as a musician, just once you see that, like you're on the stage. I mean, once you saw these folks like smiling and waving at you, that had to be a whole different experience.
It is, but like I said, being that's first time in Europe, first time, I, going to checkpoint Charlie, I was like, oh, Dad, the same people that were looking at me all cockeyed, they're smiling and waving and dancing and singing. I was like, I was confused.
Yes, yes.
Then I'm talking about pops and what it was for those 100,000 people that called the Truce to attend the concert.
That is
2
amazing.
weeks before we're at war.
That's amazing.
I'm like, what are we doing? Go in the war zone and drop big boom boxes and let the jazz play.
Right. You almost ask, well, why are we at war? If we can stop it.
Exactly.
If we can stop to go to a concert.
And declare peace.
That's right.
So, and that's why.
And that happened recently. Ukraine and Russia. They declared a truce for the Easter Orthodox. The Orthodox Easter. Yes.
Just make every day an Easter Orthodox.
Yes. So you're right. If you can do that, if you can make that determination, then you would think,
Because all of that foolishness, it's a choice. You don't have to do that. There's enough that, well, what are you fighting? You want somebody else's stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
When you leave here, it's like I hear people talking, about these things all the time, and the wealth gap is so wide.
Yes,
the gold standard. Yeah, gotta buy gold and buy silver, and we get frightened into doing a lot of things, and
that's true.
I mean, I like collecting coins.
Nice things.
I have coins and money from every country I've ever been to in my life.
Okay.
So why do you keep this? I said, I want it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much it is, but to me, I said, I have it. This is
memorabilia
from places that I've been.
Right.
From every country that I've ever been to. I have every program I've ever played on since college.
Wow.
It was a bit much. I had to throw some of them away because I had like 5 or 6. But I have an archive. And it may not mean anything to anyone, but when
it means something to you.
Yeah, well, it does.
Yes.
But when we leave here, the gold is still going to be here.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
What are we valuing?
Yes.
Our greatest asset is each other. The money. And I don't know, I think I heard it somewhere. You can tell the soul of a country by how it treats its poor.
Mm.
I agree, because when I have these conversations with people about, you got to get your Bitcoin, you got to get your gold, you got to. So how are poor people going to benefit from that?
Right.
No, this is going to level the playing ground. I said, how?
Yeah.
They can't eat dinner. You have to have money to buy that, right?
That's right. That's right.
So what is that going to do for them?
Right.
And then I think about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and not the big things they were known for, because we didn't have the papers or the publications just to see what was going on. So they got to tell the story.
Right.
It wasn't until he was about to bring all the people together that's when they got him.
Yeah.
All the civil rights stuff. We're gonna bring all the poor people. That poor people's campaign.
Yes.
Like, oh no, that was heavy. That's gonna be too much.
Right.
And bring all poor people.
All poor people, regardless of color.
Yeah, they had nothing to do with black and white.
That's right. That's right.
Plenty of poor white people.
That's right.
Probably more so than
Correct.
But anyway, not to get on that kick.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Mm.
So we were just talking about the power of music in terms of bringing people together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even in how you can hear a song from your childhood and take you right back to that, or a song like Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? And I heard it as a kid. My older cousins was listening to it, but I didn't know what it was about until coming in an adult. It's just like cartoons.
Yeah.
It seems funny, right? You see Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, and all of them, and like the Bugs Bunny being a cook, a chef for the guy that's asking for a Hasselpfeffer. That was so funny when you're a kid, and you grow up and look at the menu for Hasselpfeffer. Rabbit, like, oh man, you get it's you can learn and live through all of these things, and whether it's the cartoons and or music. I hear some songs that were on the radio when we were growing up. I was like, man, I remember that day, or I remember that time. And it's,
that's right.
The power of music and how it can jar your memory, or just
it creates an emotion.
Yeah,
it creates an emotion. You hear it, like you said, something from your teenage years, which is why probably those kind of oldie shows are really very popular, because people want to go back to that time.
Yeah.
They want to experience whatever that emotion was, and people cry real tears at those events.
Good times and bad.
Good times and bad, absolutely.
Let's just kiss and say goodbye. I'm like, I remember that.
Right.
I never got to kiss her, but I wanted to cry. But anyway, but songs. I mean, those songs, and then jazz too. People say pop music, but jazz was pop music at one time. It's just
that's right.
The popular music.
Right.
Anyway.
So have you? I mean, the experience you talk about in terms of the people smiling and waving, that's very interesting. But have you ever had a bad experience on the bandstand? Like a bad performance or something you would.
Well, you always have good nights and better nights. So this would happen with Wynton's band, and it's not bad at all. With that septet, we've been out on the road, and then we're on the road between 250, 300 at the height of traveling, 300 days a year. Now,
Wow.
Cats started getting married and want to have families. Like,
Okay.
man, can we travel less?
Yes.
But what we used to do was, you're playing with somebody that much, or you're around them, you know what they're dealing with, and
Right.
we would never just phone it in. So we're gonna try something new every night between Hurling and Ville, or
Okay.
the rhythm section, and every now and then somebody on the bandstand would come off and say, "Hey man, y'all gotta forgive me. I don't like the way I sounded tonight."
Okay.
What are you talking about? So like a bad night
Yes.
for Wynton, or a bad night for West.
I see.
Still a great night. What are you talking? So, and I know what that is because I've done it too. Like I was really going for something, I couldn't quite hear it. I couldn't quite get it. In the attempt at doing it, some great things happened, but I didn't get. So,
Okay.
like, oh man, yeah, man, I'm sorry, y'all. Man, bro, what are you talking about? You sounded great.
But you didn't feel it. No. You didn't feel it.
I mean, you're being very self-critical.
Of course, of course.
And you're not thinking about the impact. That's what you get in your. Every now and then we get in our way, even in that way.
Right.
So, and then there's the antithesis of that happening when the whole band is playing at a level where it feels like our feet aren't touching the ground.
Oh.
And it wouldn't happen all the time. Once, maybe twice a year.
Really?
And, yeah, I mean, and I'm just saying, like for us.
Okay.
Like everything was just firing everything we tried. And it's just like, we get on the bus and that's, man, it happened. It's like, and that's like what I can imagine people get from being high. I mean,
Sure.
No, I mean, I dabbled when I was in college, but that's a musical high that you always want to get back to that.
Got it.
How can we play at that level?
Right.
Everybody's playing their best and beyond, and we all know it.
Yes.
And then it happens with the whole band, and it's just like, we got still praying. Yeah. It's still sometimes praying. Tears to my eyes.
Yes. Like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To know that when you experience music at that level, that it's possible. And you're always going for that.
Yeah.
You always want that. And it's I'm pretty sure it probably happens in some situations. But the thing was, you got guys that have been together on the road playing music, celebrating birthdays, families, children being born, going to one another's hometown.
Sure.
I mean, it was a great family situation. And so I'm just gonna say, when you experience the music like that, you always trying to get back
to that.
And telling our students you can get that, but when they they don't do the basic things like practicing. It's like I don't think I know for a fact they don't really understand or what that is. When you get that, but
they haven't experienced it.
Yeah, it changes something inside of you, which means you can play music at that level. And I mean, we've seen it happen because like you were asking about a bad experience. Yeah, that's not really a bad experience.
No, not at all.
But
that's just the opposite.
We had them on the road. Like one night we were playing the John Coltrane Police. I was like, man, I felt good. Everything I tried, I could play. And I was like, we're playing Coltrane. And we had the saxophonist in the band. And I said, maybe he wants to play on this.
Okay.
So you got it. He played and he got frustrated. And he threw his hands up in the air and walked off the stage.
Oh.
Which...
That's... Do you do that?
He did it. And it changed the vibe on the bandstand. That's the audience, because people see you.
Of course.
We just kept playing.
Okay.
We had a meeting that next day, shoot pool with some of the guys. And so went to call a meeting, and she just said, we got to get this together. And I said, you know what? And I said something, because normally I'm pretty quiet and reserved.
Are you a quiet and reserved person?
Huh?
Are you a quiet and reserved person generally?
I am, but you see, you can push me.
Okay.
And I just said something. I was like, well, I don't think, it's not anything that a good butt whooping won't fix. I didn't say butt either. And I just said, people were like, what the call say? I said, they just need, I said, I mean, and I know we got these, folks with corporal punishment and things that have changed.
Yes.
I said, I grew up down south. I don't think I'm a bad person.
Right.
And it may have been what folks knew or whatever, good or bad, right or wrong. It was like, you cut up,
yes,
you're going to get your butt cut, and then you ain't cut up anymore. And that's just simply how that works. I said, there's not anything need to be talked. We really need to talk about.
Right.
And then I think I did that a couple of times. The musicians, they didn't speak to me for a month, or they were afraid to speak because they thought I wanted to do it. I said, no, I wasn't talking about doing it. I said, you just need your behind whoop. You're acting like a child.
Right.
And we up here, and it was just clear.
Right.
I said, no, I'm not going to put my hands on you. It ain't my job. It's not my band.
Right.
And I wouldn't do that anyway. I just maybe wouldn't hire him again, but. And so we have had moments like that on the bandstand where somebody is, I don't know, they're in their head and they can change the trajectory of what's going on stage in one gesture. It's like, just walk off stage.
Amazing.
Like, you just said to the audience.
Yes.
I'm like,
that's disrespectful to the audience.
Yeah, like, man, what was that?
Wow.
So anyway, but I don't. It's hard to have bad moments playing music. Getting to the gigs, dealing with sound checks, things not being set up, and dealing with other people. When it comes to the music, we're gonna make that fine. When we walk out on the stage with that band, it's just like from the first note, it's time to get to work.
Right.
But the things ain't getting there. It's like traveling. I love playing, but the hardest thing about my job now is just getting there.
Right.
Like coming up here the other day.
Yeah.
Flight was delayed, and so many people in Augusta Airport. I'm sure it broke fire codes, but everybody's trying to get out of Augusta because they have flights going to. We have like regional jets, but they had regular jets. Amongst the hundreds of private planes that were there, and people were just leaving, and I was like, okay. When I travel, like I said, I'm pretty even keeled. Okay. And then you see people in the airport fussing. And I said, they cannot do anything about getting that plane off the ground. Right. You can yell all you want.
Right, that's right.
You can curse out the airline. You can curse out the agent. Nothing's going to happen. And before I got on the plane to come here the other day, it was about 30, 40, about an hour delayed. Guy was like, she said, sir, let me see your ticket. He's like, yeah, where's this plane going? To New York. Well, I thought this was the line for Atlanta. Man, the lady said, sir, let's go this way. Right. And I got on. He said he's mad because he got it the wrong round. Right. He was about to miss his flight. Yeah. Well, I thought this. Yeah.
Right.
So, right. So, but there was no room to sit. People standing in line. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a drink. Okay. I'm not standing, and the line was too long.
I see.
But anyway, so those are the things that can make a trip negative. Once the music starts, all that stuff goes out of the window.
Got it, of course.
People would say, I would love to do what you all are doing, because they see the 2.5 hours we're on stage.
That's right.
And then when we were traveling by tour bus, we had some friends that would get on. We had 7 band members, 2 road managers, so we had just 12 beds on the bus, 2 or 3 beds, and some friends. Photographer, writer would come with us, and after about day 3, they said, I don't know how y'all do this. I said, oh, you saw this. Right. This is the road. Yes. You got a 13-hour bus ride. Right. Now, granted, we did ride in comfort. Okay. But still, it's 12, 13 hours on the bus. Yeah. Overnight, get up, do the sound check, eat, go do the gig, and get up and, Yes. When we were booking the tours like that.
But those are challenges. I mean, those challenges, right, that you deal with that, right, the average person, the audience certainly is not going to see. But those challenges can be difficult on relationships, though. I mentioned, you've been Married a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah,
times
couple
now.
times.
How many times?
4.
4.
4.
And so that's tough.
It
right?
is. It is. People would ask me, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? And maybe 10 years ago, it'd be about, well, do this and prepare for this. But I'm like,
Okay.
my 18-year-old self, don't get married till you're in your 40s. And don't, and I'm pretty sure my life would be different.
Okay.
But, and then even with children, I have 5 kids.
Okay.
I'm like, oh man, and I don't regret my decisions, but when COVID hit and I was home, it kind of hit me. I knew what it was, but it's one thing to know something,
Yes.
or to read about something, and then to see it.
Okay.
And then to be home is like, man, I miss soccer, basketball. I was out able to provide for my family, but being home's a different thing.
I see.
And I didn't take my suitcase off the bed until it was about a month. I'm like, we're not going back out. And it felt funny at first because I'm just like, had a system. Changed, where am I going? I need a tuxedo. No, I don't. Have 3 gigs, pack my clothes, and now I was home.
Okay.
And then I learned I loved it.
Okay.
And I was like, I could have stayed home, or, I can.
Yes.
But so, yeah. And then, I just remember 2 of my marriages, to my wife, a former wife, saying, I just see the back of your head. I'm like, you're not home. I said, I was doing this when we met. Now, I can, start a business, a music school, which I did at one point in time.
Okay.
Music and dance school with another partner. We were engaged to get married, but we never got married. And I said, I can probably do that, but I didn't have student loans.
Okay.
It's going to take me a minute to get it.
Sure.
And I believe that I can do it.
Right.
She said, well, I can probably cover you until, and so this is my second wife. And I said, well, I don't have a whole lot of bills, but one I do have, I got to pay is my child support. She said, no, go ahead, stay on the road. I said, I didn't think so.
Right.
So, so yeah, it is, I'd suggest anybody to kind of get counseling before getting married anyway. It's easy to get married and, fall in love. Oh, I love you, I want to be with you. And
sure.
Let's get married. And then you start living together. I said, I don't really know this person.
Yeah.
And then it's so difficult it's easy to get into and hard to get out of.
Right.
But, without getting into all of that, it's, it can be hard on relationships.
Yeah.
If you don't work at trying to keep an understanding, about what's going on. It's like,
right.
And then, another wife, I was like, she understands what this is. That's what I'm doing. And then it came out that way too. It's like, I just see the back of your head. Like, this is how I take care of us.
Yes, yes.
So it's a balancing
It's
act.
Delicate balance. Balance.
And which is why I say, I tell my 18-year-old self, do not get married until you're in your 40s.
But now, how old are you now?
58.
Okay. And you said maybe.
Yeah,
you said maybe.
Late 40s.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a musician, and I believe that's what I was put here to do. I don't know that I was put here to be a good husband.
Okay. All right. Fair.
I'd like to be.
Okay.
Like Duke Ellington said.
What did he say?
Music is my mistress.
Yes.
And she plays second fiddle to none. And I think Duke may have been married a time or two, but it was just like, he wrote the book, Music is My Mistress, which I loved because he talked about a bunch of people that you would probably never know, but what he did, he always talked about the good things.
I see.
In people. So
they have the same saying in law. They say that law is a jealous mistress. That sums it up.
I can imagine.
Yes.
I can imagine. You have to be.
But always wants your attention. Always.
Yeah. Wow.
And you have to give it if you like it and love it, and you want to be successful. That's right. You have to do it.
You and see that I understand. I get that.
Okay.
And then, and then there's, well, we're home. It's like, just come to bed. You can get back to that tomorrow. Not when inspiration is happening.
Yeah.
It might be 2:30 or 3 in the morning. I got to do this.
Right.
No, it's not like I'm putting a puzzle together.
Right. Right.
And I've had that happen to me before. When I was trying to work on composing my first wind symphony piece.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, I was playing the wind ensemble at Florida A&M. The first day I had a thematic idea, and I was like, oh yeah, this will work.
Okay.
Second day, got the first iteration of that theme, and I was like, yeah. Now I didn't write it down. And I was like, and I was on a bus, taking a bus home.
Yeah.
The third day, I was like, man, this is gonna be great. Day 4.
Okay.
There were bits and pieces of it that I didn't remember. Still didn't put it down, but it's gonna come back.
Right, that's what you think, right?
And then you know what? I never did it.
And
a year later, I'm riding in the car, listening to NPR, and something comes on the radio.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I'm singing a song I never heard before, and I was like, I don't know this, but I did know it.
Right.
But I didn't know it. Never heard it before.
Okay.
And I said, and that's when I realized that you have to take the gifts that God gives you when they
come.
to you.
When it comes, yes.
And I said, I'll never. I said, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
So I'll pick up my phone if I'm hearing something.
Okay.
And I'll sing it into the phone because I can. Because I can notate it later.
Okay.
And it's like I said. And, we were playing at a club in New Orleans one night, and somebody's playing long. You play a background a couple of times. That'd be the signal for them to stop.
Okay.
Wes Anderson and I was standing, back to back, and just like, we turn around, we're getting ready to play this background, and went, ba-ba-do-be-da, ba-do, and we played the same thing, and I was like, I said, we just laughed because every now and then that would happen.
Okay.
We're hearing the same thing. Like, it's in the room.
Wow.
It's just like, so I said, I'll never let that happen again. I won't let that gift slip. I said, that's what it was.
Got it.
I heard it on the radio, and I said, that came to me.
Right.
And I didn't write it.
I see.
And they said, I think they mentioned who the composer was. I couldn't write it down because I was driving over.
Right. Right.
So I know that what I do is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And then trying to be the conventional, quote unquote, person, husband, father, and that kind of thing, because that's what I was taught, what we were supposed to do.
Right.
In hindsight, I would probably do that, but then I would know with the understanding, and I say this now, of course, because it's in hindsight, my life would probably be totally different if those things happened. But I was like, don't get married, not right away.
Well, it sounds like that'd be a great title for a book. My life in hindsight.
Yeah, maybe I should do it. Maybe I should do that.
But you have written a book, though, right?
No, I just have some memoirs. All the books I've done are published music books, pedagogy that I've developed and or my approach to playing.
Oh, okay.
Like, sing it first. If you can sing something and you can play it. So, and I've been thinking about that idea. But I just, I do journal a little bit, and I ran across some things I'd written several years ago. I was like, wow. Maybe I should write this, or maybe I shouldn't.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, you can change name to protect people, but it was pretty. I'm like, I'm glad I wrote that down because some things you just try to forget. Yeah. And some things you can't help but forget.
That's right.
So
that's
like,
right.
Okay, yeah, this happened.
Wow.
So anyway.
Now I heard you mention you called yourself Cone. Do you have some nicknames or something? Is that what I was hearing?
Yeah, being from Georgia. Pine trees.
Okay.
We were at Florida A&M, and I was in Wynton's band by now. We were in Connecticut, I think Yale or something. Anyway, when I was at FAMU, I was in the marching band, and if we had a Saturday off, sometimes we play football, full contact football with no helmets, no pads,
Wow.
18 to 19 and full of testosterone or
Yes.
whatever it is. And we were playing full contact tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And I could throw a ball pretty far. At least I could then.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quarterbacking, and defense broke the line. I was running in one direction.
Uh-huh.
I had a man open about 60 yards away, and I threw the ball from the side.
Okay.
And this guy said, "You cockstrong country bull." He started calling me things he associated with the country. Now, he's from Atlanta.
Okay.
But he's, chuck wagon and gravy train, or you pine cone.
Uh-huh.
So we're at Yale and Wynton's band. They're throwing the football outside. I'm like, oh, man, yeah.
Okay.
So I throw the ball in. Herman Riley had a really good arm.
Uh-huh.
But we were throwing, and I did too, and I could throw.
Uh-huh.
And then you would say, put a little pepper on this one.
Uh-huh.
And they weren't, he might also say cone. They weren't calling me cone yet. I said, oh, pepper? I said, I got some of that. Zing. And then he said, hey, you heard that? The ball head went behind it. And then he do it again. He said, give me another one. I said, okay, this is going to come in hot. And I said, dang. You got a strong arm. They said, we got to come up with a nickname for Wycliffe. I said, well, this dude used to call me Chuck Wagon, Gravy Train, and Pine Cone. They said, yeah, Chuck Wagon. So Gravy Train don't really work. Chuck. So I know we're going to call you Pine Cone. And I'm being from Georgia where there's a lot of pine trees.
Yes.
And so it went from Pine Cone to just Cone, like an unofficial last name.
Okay.
And then came Coupe de Cone, Colonel Cone, Colonial Cone. So it was just, and if I heard that, that was born in the Wynton Marsalis Septet.
Okay.
And eventually, other musicians in New York, why they call you Pine Cone? Because I'm from Georgia.
Right.
And, but, that's the story.
That's just a simple answer.
There's this guy named Keith Saylor.
Okay.
Because Wynton when I was in the band, they called me, and I am. I'm straight country.
Okay.
And he said, boy, you country? I said, yeah. We were on the bus one night on the tour, and the door in the middle of the bus kept opening. They put shoes in front of it, and then they put a bag in front of it. But the rest of the bag was moving. It goes, right. Like, man, we can't get that door to close. I said, the door? And I just got some toilet paper and balled it up and pressure closed it.
Right.
It didn't open it. I said, boy, you country. I said, did it work?
Yes,
yes. I am. And it wasn't, because sometimes you city folk, they're ribbing you. And I was like,
right.
I said, I wore it as a badge of honor. I said, yeah, I'm from Waynesboro, Georgia.
Yes.
I'm country. We grew up on a dirt road. My cousins lived on a farm. They were pretty much, sharecroppers. And I didn't know what that was back then, but they worked the farm. Eventually they owned the land that they worked on.
Okay.
However that worked. As a child, you didn't really learn that. We just going over to cousin Army's house, and we're going to stay there for the weekend, and they got the chicken. They had a cow. We shuck corn and shell butter beans, that kind of thing. And for me, I was like, I didn't really like it until we had our pans. I'm like, well, let's see how much. I turned it into a game. Even when I did construction work, I didn't care for it really. But when I was rolling a wheelbarrow full of cement, I said, this is my workout before I go to the gym.
Yeah.
And so I would turn it into something that would be, fun for me. So, and that's kind of what the farm was. And I was like, am I country? I'm like, yes. If I go down there and get down and be around those people for about 10 minutes.
Yes.
You might call me and not understand what I'm saying. You may not understand what I'm saying now.
No, I understand you well. But you're gonna lapse back into your southern accent. Is that it?
So where are you? You Wayne? I say, yeah, I'm around my cousins.
Right,
so
right.
Anyway,
wow. Now I understand. I mean, the world knows now that Wynton Marsalis is retiring from or stepping down from Jazz at Lincoln Center. What's your thought about that?
Well, I don't have one really one way or another. I'm wondering why.
Okay.
Maybe he's just ready to move into a new thing.
Okay.
People ask me why I left the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra in 2000.
Right.
Great job, high profile.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready to do something new, and I hadn't really talked to him about it. Some
Okay.
people said, "Would you take that job?" I said, "Absolutely not.
Why?
I'm not a administrator.
Mm.
I don't want to do the things that I sort of had to be done to come to that job. I
Mm.
mean, and maybe it doesn't. I'm not saying anything good or bad, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in a position to have to do that. I want to be a musician.
Okay.
I want to teach, compose,
Mm-hmm.
arrange, and do those things. Maybe 20 years ago, I'd have considered it, but
Okay.
it's high profile.
Right.
I don't really want that. People are always coming after you. What are you doing wrong?
Mm.
It's not hiring enough women. It's not hiring enough, white people. It's hiring all black people.
Got
I'm like,
it.
and I've seen Wynton in debates,
Mm-hmm.
and always know
Mm-hmm.
that if you're gonna come after him, be ready.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna prepare.
Okay.
And I remember this debate between he and James Lincoln Collier.
Okay.
And James Lincoln Collier had written a book on jazz and said something about Louis Armstrong or Duke Ellington, like Duke Ellington when he plays not black, brown, and beige, but black and tan fantasy.
Okay.
On the from going from the A section to the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the flat six dominant chord, and he said something like, "Well, his hand just happened to fall there," as if that he wasn't capable of thinking of that harmonic progression.
Gotcha.
So, and when said something about it, and so, or that he's something about Louis Armstrong, and it, it just wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was written by a great scholar,
Yeah.
it had to be true. And then they set up a debate
Uh-huh.
with him and Wynton, and it was for 90 minutes. I can only stay for 45 because I had something else.
Yeah.
And all of the cronies for Collier came out to see Wynton take a lashing.
I see. Yeah.
And that's exactly what did not happen.
Wow.
He just said,
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was. He said, no, you said on the second paragraph on chapter on page 191 that you said this. And he said, this is why that is not true. And and I think Stanley Crouch was there. I think Elmer was still living.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they helped him to prepare. But it's like anything. He's very, very competitive.
I see.
Basketball, chess.
Got it.
That doesn't really matter.
Uh-huh.
But if you're going to debate him, get ready.
Got
And I'm
it.
not saying he's always right or that
Fair.
I agree with everything he says.
Right, right.
I just said if you're gonna just come prepared for.
Yes.
So his leaving, I guess maybe he's just ready to step down.
Okay.
I won't know until I just talk with him, and
yeah.
even then. I don't know that he'll tell me.
Share.
Right.
Right.
It's like, people would ask me why I left the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, I wanted to do other things, which is it.
Right.
Unless you really only,
on the inside, yes, yes.
There were some things that happened that I wasn't too cool about.
Right.
And I was able to.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, had I still been with the orchestra.
Right.
After 2000, I went and recorded 23 records. I wouldn't go on I'd have never met you guys.
Right.
I wouldn't be on the cruise because I'd have had to do, Jazz Lincoln Center schedule. I wanted to see what it was like to just do my own thing, and I did not want to wonder. Say, wow, what would have happened? What if I didn't?
Got it.
And I started my record company. I was recording for Chris Cross and other folks, and they were like. They weren't recording me fast as I was writing, so I said, I start my own record company, Bluesback Records. That started in 2006. I'm not trying to compete with Sony and Atlanta. No, I'm not, but it's mine.
Exactly.
And so, why did you leave? Because I wanted to. And I like options.
Yes.
And so even when, teaching at Juilliard, it was... She was like, you're teaching Juilliard. Oh, wow. I said, it's a job.
Right.
Juilliard's great.
Wow.
I love Juilliard, but Juilliard is a name. Juilliard is built on the people that worked there, that taught there. They just happen to work at Juilliard, like, Leontine Price. And,
yes.
The folks that happened at that place. But the reputation is, I said, so I'm proud to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
But it's not because it's Juilliard.
Right.
So, and
Wow.
That's not put it down. So back to your question, I have no idea.
Right.
I figure I'll talk to Wynton one day and
Right.
maybe he'll tell me or not. But
Right. That's private between you and him anyway,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So
well, yeah.
yeah. So I want to make sure you catch your plane. So I'm going to ask you one last question.
Sure.
How would you like to be remembered?
How would I like to be remembered?
Yes.
Well, my job is being I am a musician. Do I want to be a composer? I do all of those things.
Okay.
I want to be remembered as somebody that actually gave a damn about the existence of the people. And not just, but mainly, what we call the common people. I want for us to come together. I want to be remembered as somebody that stopped the war. That was not that I can go over there and stop any war,
right?
But like the small ones with Louis Armstrong in 1956,
yes.
The little thing that I saw.
Right.
We weren't at war, but late on that year when the wall came down from, it was at the end of '89. They tore the wall down. And what we've been talking about the past couple of walls, yes. and walls and walls. I want to be on that team of people that's undoing all of this.
Okay.
That's happening and help human beings get back to being human, regardless how much gold you have, how much Bitcoin you have, how much whatever. Then doesn't mean I want to live a certain way. But if everyone is not, I don't want to say given a fast shot, but if everyone doesn't have the ability to have what God has for us, then I want to do that. Means if it means giving up my seat.
Okay.
Because I've been in those places.
Okay.
And it's great. In Augusta right now, on the private planes, I'm like, damn, that was nice. It's nice. I'm like, it's cool. But I'm like, hey, what about my neighbors? And I want to. I don't have to think about that. But that's kind of where I'm coming from. So whether I'm a musician or composer, those are my jobs.
Okay.
I want to be able to do what the music that we were playing did for those people, to turn their frowns into smiles, that made them realize that their humanness was more important than what they thought they saw in me, what they thought of me because of political relations with America, whatever it was.
Right, sure.
I saw it change in real time.
Right.
And if we can do that, and then, to change for the better, because we don't have to be at war. We don't have to fight.
Right.
For what?
Right.
Things. Stuff gonna be here when we leave. It was here before we got here.
Yes.
What we gonna do with it? If I got 25,000 pounds ago, what's gonna happen to it when I leave? It's still gonna be worth whatever somebody determines what's gonna be worth. But my life, your life, your friendship, that means more to me than gold or you can't put a price on it. You can. But I don't, because that's the currency that's most important to me.
Right.
Human currency.
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
We get to it.
Yeah, I hope we do too. But we're working on it.
Yeah.
So listen, folks, thanks for joining us today on MyattJazz. Loved having Wycliffe Gordon today. I want to make sure he makes his plane. But in the meantime, you guys should like and subscribe this episode, because we were in for a treat today, just him taking the time out to meet with us. So we'll see you next time on the next episode of MyattJazz. Thanks for stopping by.